Hey guys, Dan from GunSaveLives.net here. Today I want to do a quick product review for you, and it's our first product review for our channel actually, and surprisingly it's not a gun, knife, ammo, or any sort of firearm related accessory. It's a watch. Now you might be thinking, well, why is a gun channel and a political channel reviewing a watch? And because it's pretty badass, that's why. This is the Casio G-Shock G9300-1 Mudman. It's one of the more functional watches in the Casio G-Shock line. It's not super cheap. Trying to remember exactly how much I ended up paying for it out the door. I want to say it was right around a couple $100, but I'll have to double check that. I'll post an annotation with the current price as of when I'm posting this video. So let's just kind of run through this thing really quickly. The watch, let's talk about the dimensions first. It is a big watch. Let me show it to you on my wrist here real quick. I'm not actually going to tighten it up, but this will give you an idea. I've got about 7.5 to 8 inch somewhere in the middle of their wrists, and you can see that even on a larger wrist like that, it's still taking up most of the top of my wrist, but it actually wears a lot smaller than it looks due to the light weight and the material that it's made out of, and we'll talk about that in a second. You can also see that it's fairly thick compared to like my finger. You can see that it's pretty hefty thickness wise. It's a 48 millimeter case according to the specs, and I'm assuming that's from like lug to lug, from like my finger to my thumb here. It's a little more symmetrical than a lot of the other G-Shocks that you see that have a lot of the functionality. It's pretty much just a nice round face. You have two buttons on either side. These buttons are raised out a little bit more, and then you've got your sensor here that we'll talk about. But all in all, it's a fairly symmetrical looking watch as far as the shape. It doesn't have some big sensor sticking out the side over here, or ridiculously huge buttons like some of the G-Shocks do. So in my mind, that's a plus for visual reasons. It weighs 2.4 ounces according to the specs, which, I mean, like I said, you can see the size of this thing. It's a pretty hefty watch, but it weighs nothing, so it wears very, very easily on the wrist. You kind of forget it's there a lot despite its large size. It is the Mudman watch, which means that it is mud proof. It's also waterproof or water resistant to 200 meters. But you can see that the entire watch is actually protected by this rubberized coating. These buttons here, let's see if I can get close, aren't actually the buttons on the watch. This is actually part of the sort of the plastic casing, so even the buttons are enclosed in these this plastic protective material. It makes it really, really durable. We'll talk about the durability in a minute. The strap, you can see it's fairly typical of the G-Shock line. It is the single buckle, which is okay, I guess. Honestly, I kind of prefer, I never had a problem with it, but I prefer this style. This is another G-Shock I have. Sorry, my phone is beeping. Let me put that on silent real quick. Nothing but professionalism here. Okay, so you can see this one's got the double clasp, which I generally prefer in the G-Shock line. But anyway, small gripe there. I'm not sure why they went with the single on this one, but it works. Not had any issues with it so far. So now let's touch on some of the features of the watch. Hopefully I'm trying to hold this so we don't get too much glare, but you can still see the features of the watch face. Here we have a second hand, quote unquote. It's unlike the other second indicators of a lot of G-Shocks that have like 10-second segments that kind of fill in every 10 seconds. This actually has 60 individual segments in there, so you can actually get a visual sort of second-hand effect there. and you'll see right now it's about to start over, and then it'll go completely black and then back to the other, so you can watch that as we talk. Got your day, date, current time, AM, PM. If you're in 12-hour setting, if you're in 24-hour setting, that won't be there. Daylight savings time indicator right underneath the seconds. Sorry, getting a little reflection there. Moon phase indicator. When this is completely whited out, that means that you are you have a full moon. When it's completely blacked out, that means you have a new moon. And it shows, it's got about, I think like 6 or 8 segments there to show different phases of the moon, which is a cool little feature to have on the watch face. A lot of watches have a moon phase indicator, but it's kind of usually hidden in the menus and things like that for some of the more advanced watches that do have that. You can see these panels around the side here. Those are solar panels. This watch is solar powered. And you can see this HML, I don't know if you can read it, but these 3 little segments right here, that's your power indicator. You can see that right now it's on H for high. The watch, according to the specs, does have an, let's see, 8-month battery life from being fully charged. And the watch does actually have a power save mode, so that if it's not exposed to light for a certain amount of time, the screen will actually cut off. And then when you pick it up and start moving it around, or when you press a button, it'll come right back on, but it saves that much more battery life. So I've never had a problem with the battery getting anywhere below the high mark, and I probably wear this watch anywhere from like 2 to 4 times, 2 to 4 days a week. And that's plenty of light, and I work indoors, so it's not too hard to keep it charged at all, and no battery to worry about changing, which is nice. So now let's talk about some of the other features of the watch. First off, let me change the way I'm holding this. If we hit the adjust button here, you see that our date just changed to another time. That is your second time zone setting. Right now I've got mine set to UTC time, which is what a lot of web servers use, and working on the web, that's just kind of handy to be able to see that real quick. Press it again and it brings your date back up. This button down here is your mode button. I'm not going to go through all the functionality. If you're familiar with G-Shocks, it's a traditional G-Shock menu for the most part. But I'm just going to run through the features really quickly. So we've got our main screen here. Press it once, that brings up our moon phase. That's the age of the current moon in days. We can actually use these buttons to scroll through next days and things like that. So this button, now it's this button. So that'll bring up the age of the moon tomorrow, the next day. So that's useful. You can scroll it out to like 28 days and see when the next new moon is, or the next full moon, or whatever. Next feature, these are your time zones. You can change them with the normal buttons, rotate through them. You see that I've got UTC right here. That's a 3-digit code for your city that you're viewing right there, and then it's got your time zone, just your normal, basically home screen, except in your other time zone. Stopwatch, see, I think reset, there we go. Start, stop, reset. I think it goes up to 999 hours or something ridiculous like that. So good stopwatch. One thing I do wear this watch when I'm running, and I like that it's got the time right there where the date is on the home screen. So you've got your stopwatch time here for your workout or whatever it is your timing you're doing, but then you've also got your time, so you know what time it is. Next mode, we've got a timer. That's a countdown timer, sort of the opposite of the stopwatch. Then we have multiple alarms. I believe this one has 5 alarms, so you can cycle through those and set those. And here we are back at the home screen. If we hit the light button, I don't think you'll be able to see it at all, really. You can see it a little bit. That's the backlight. It works pretty good. You can set it. There's an option, if you look in the manual, you can set it for, I believe, 1.5 or 3 seconds. And then the last bit of really cool functionality that we have is the compass and temperature readings. Over here we have, this is where the sensors actually are on the side of the watch over here, and then this button over here in the middle Press that. That's going to take us into compass mode. And you see this is the direction currently pointing. It's helpful to have the watch level, so it's not going to be 100% accurate with me holding it upright like this. Got your heading there in degrees, and then you've got your current temperature. The temperature, if you're wearing the watch, is going to be a little bit high. You can actually adjust it so that it's a little more correct. You know, you can make it offset 10 or 15 degrees, but generally I just leave it to the standard setting because it is pretty accurate when it's off your wrist and you let it kind of sit by itself and acclimate to the current environment for about 20 minutes. You usually get a pretty accurate reading. And then you've got your visual compass indicator up here. You can actually change the declination on this compass so that you can adjust it for your particular area that you're going to be using it in, which is kind of nice. I just pretty much leave it alone so that it points to true north, and I just sort of know the declination of where I'm at and go from there. But you can see that one thing I don't like is that after you press, these buttons are a little hard to press being underneath these rubberized covers, but not too bad, and I'm holding it kind of awkwardly right now. It doesn't maintain the readings after it stops taking calculations. So it takes calculations for a few seconds and displays them, but then you'll see everything just goes away. It'd be my preference, and I think it would be nice if all those readings stayed there after you after it stopped taking readings. But small gripe, so not going to fault it too much for that. So there it is, the Casio G-Shock G9300-1 Mudman. This white crap all over it is sunscreen. I wore it kayaking the other day. As far as durability and my experience with it so far, as I said, I wear it, trying to get it back to the home screen, there we go. I've worn it, I wear it several days a week usually. I've had it for about 3 months now. Taken it ocean kayaking, so it's been exposed to salt water. You can see it's gotten, it might be dried salt water or sunscreen, I don't know. Sunscreen, fresh water. It's been completely submerged in salt water. It's gotten mud on it from loading and unloading the kayaks. Banged around a lot. Hasn't really gotten scratched up at all that I can tell. One cool little thing to look at while we're back here. Don't know if you can see this, but it's just a nice little touch, Casio touch. It's got the little guy there, little mud guy, and it's showing that it's the compass version, and just a nice little graphic on the back there. Nice little touch by Casio on that. Anyway, not had any problems with it. Worn it running, kayaking, ocean kayaking. It's got in the mud, salt water, sunscreen, fresh water, and it's kept on ticking, no problems. I'll probably do an update review in a year or so. I don't really plan on replacing this watch as a sport watch unless something happens to it. This is pretty much everything I want in a sports watch, unless I was going to wear like a GPS watch or something, but that's a different thing altogether. So there you have it, Casio G-Shock G9300-1 Mudman. Great choice for like a sport or tactical watch. I know the G-Shocks are really popular in general with the military crowd. So this one's a little more expensive than your normal off-the-shelf G-Shock that you're going to walk into a department store and get, but the features that you get on this thing and the extra durability from the rubberized coating, I think is definitely worth it if you're going to use any of those features at all. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/gunsavelives.net. Also on Twitter, twitter.com/guns_save_lives. And at our website, that's gunsavelives.net. We publish daily stories of self-defense where law-abiding citizens use guns to defend themselves, as well as up-to-the-minute Second Amendment news. And we hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.